and your world of green matters. This week, the predator becomes prey in Australia's Coral Sea, and environmental fears rise as Siberia melts. First though, Costa Rica, where women cook everything under the sun. In the North Pacific area of Costa Rica is this small community centre. La Casa del Sol trains and teaches women about recycling, environmental care, farming and solar energy. It's the sun's power that's the focus here, with very practical applications.
Our local organisation is a cooperative at La Casa del Sol, where we are working with the training centre and the promotion of the use of solar energy. All of that together serves as a means of passing on knowledge for people to know the different applications of solar energy and, well, our specialty is oven building and cooking with the sun.
The Sol de Vida, Sun of Life Foundation had its origins in 1989, when 15 women were taught how to build solar cookers. The foundation's aim is to share this knowledge with women in the community, teaching them how to harness the power of the sun and to save their resources.
Women work with the saw, hammer, and with all the materials that the oven requires, which are plywood, fiberglass that goes inside the oven, and a zinc sheet that serves to cover the oven. It has a black plate in the lower part, a metal for the sun to reflect, and that is what warms the oven. It also has a thermometer to know the temperature. When it marks 100 degrees Celsius, you can cook anything that you want.
The solar-powered cookers save the women from having to collect firewood in areas which have no electricity supply.
I save energy, I save time, and I have more time for myself.
By building their own solar ovens, women accept the challenge to teach others how to use them. Each new graduating group becomes a new organisation. Community spirit has benefited, with more than 150 families involved in the project. They've managed to live on the planet for over 100 million years. But today, turtles are highly endangered. The Zoological Society of London, assisted by conservation groups in Mozambique, has been tracking green sea turtles in the ocean, hoping to safeguard their future.
Before we arrived in northern Mozambique, or before the project was initiated, itinerant fishermen, that's fishermen from other areas, were coming to the local beaches and harvesting the turtles, so killing the mother turtles and poaching the eggs from the nest basically, to use the shells for trinkets and turtle shell jewellery that you find, but also using the eggs for food and protein, and also the meat too.
As little is known about turtles' movements at sea, the project has been tracking them for 4 years. The latest addition is Claudia, who is fitted with an antenna that transmits her location to a satellite in space whenever she surfaces to breathe. Her movements can then be monitored on the internet. Tagging is vital to unlocking the secrets of where the turtles go after leaving their nests.
Most of the turtles that come up are green turtles, although we do get a few hawksbills. Now, while we know that the turtles come and nest, we know that we've started to protect them, but we don't know anything about where the turtles go after they're finishing nesting. So once they've laid their eggs, they'll go back into the ocean for 2 or 3 years, and we don't know where they go to feed or to forage, where they go to grow, or where they go to reproduce.
This preserved turtle shows how a mature creature could look. Turtles can live to over 100 years old. The largest ever found was 1.5 metres long and weighed 395 kilos.
We've secured the beaches now and eliminated some of the threats, but we've got the satellite tag on. we know the battery lasts for a year and a half, so we know we'll be monitoring her for at least 18 months. We hope to raise funds so that we can satellite tag some more of Claudia, our turtle's friends, and then hopefully it'll run on for the next few years so that we get a real understanding of how the turtles use the area in the Western Indian Ocean regionally.
Claudia is the first turtle to be tagged in this part of the Western Indian Ocean, an area where turtles have never before been studied. Her progress can be viewed on the Zoological Society of London's website. At rubbish dumps around the world, one man's rubbish becomes another's livelihood. At this dump in the Republic of Senegal, aluminium cans are collected for sale to recyclers. Yesterday's throwaway item is about to be transformed into a handcrafted collectible. In the capital city Dakar, where poverty is widespread, enterprising locals turn discarded materials into colourful toys, furniture and pieces of art.
There are some people who give us cans as a gift, but there are others who collect the cans and sell them to us. These people do not have a job, so they collect the cans from the dumping grounds and hotels, and they sell them to us at a price of 2 US cents during the warm season. You know, it is a bit warm now, so there are many cans. But when it is the cold season, the cans are more expensive.
The cans are cut up and then beaten flat to make decorative suitcases and boxes. These are proving to be very popular with resident expatriates and foreign tourists. The workers' output is varied and highly original, with distinctive and decorative designs made from a range of materials.
We are not used to copying others' work. We don't copy others' work. Only when some customers come here and they have their own order, their own design and drawings, then we will make it for you. But I will ask you for an order, a design, all the same. If the work is yours and you say, would I make it, then I will do it for a commission.
Handcrafted items are part of a thriving cottage industry in Dakar. Expatriate professionals make the most of the original creations, happily toting pop art Nescafe and Coca-Cola cases to their offices. For the poor, street trading can mean survival. Recent government attempts to ease traffic congestion by banning street trading sparked widespread rioting in a country noted for its stability. Nadu and Dakar's many thousands of street vendors hope to continue making a living, producing and selling their incredible variety of goods. In a world where coral reefs are disappearing 5 times faster than rainforests, Australia's coral sea is a treasure trove of precious jewels. Covering a massive 800,000 square kilometres, almost half of which makes up the Great Barrier Reef, it comprises a series of spectacular mountainous coral reefs and a thriving marine environment. But increasingly, it is at risk from human activity. Environmental organisation WWF has called on the Australian government to declare the entire Coral Sea region a marine protected area.
There are a lot of threats coming our way, and I guess from illegal fishing to fishing under licence, recreational fishing is even a risk even this far out, oil and gas, and the looming presence of climate change is also a major threat to places like Osprey Reef.
Osprey Reef is the northernmost reef on the Coral Sea Plateau. It's a haven for a myriad of marine species, many endangered or not found elsewhere in the world.
It's great to have and to be able to fish. So it's not that we want to stop fishing, it's that we want to be able to make sure we can do it forever.
Osprey Reef is renowned for the number and variety of sharks that frequent its waters.
Yeah, the species we're doing research on here are threatened throughout most of the Indo-Pacific region, mainly due to fishing for the shark fins on all the islands around, and the populations are being decimated anywhere.
Shark fins are very popular in Asian markets, worth around $50 US each, but the rest of the meat is worth little. Sharks are often finned alive and then dumped back into the ocean. Unable to swim and therefore breathe, they drown. Diners in Hong Kong restaurants willingly shell out around $100 for a bowl of shark fin soup. But it is the shark that pays the ultimate price. Imagine taking a peek into the future. What would your eco account balance be? In the red or in the green? At Belgium's Living Tomorrow exhibition, the House of the Future gave visitors a sneak preview.
It is a fact that buildings are consuming a lot of energy. More than 40% of total energy is used by buildings for climatization, for heating, for the lights. And that's why we have to build environmentally friendly houses. Also, not only this house, but every house is going to be built. And for example, we have integrated here photovoltaic cells on the lamellas to generate also electricity to use inside.
Additional electricity is generated using fuel cell technology, powering the house's high-tech gadgets. Designed by respected architect Zaha Hadid, the kitchen features a main unit named the Z Island. Here, a touch control panel lets you change the lighting, switch on a multimedia screen, adjust the heating, or release pleasant aromas from taps next to the cooking surface. Less confident cooks can take heart. Simply scan a shopping bag on an electronic screen integrated in the kitchen wall, and a TV chef appears to take you step by step through the recipe. Meanwhile, you can manage your real cost of living.
This gives an example what you consume in the house, from water and rainwater, gas consumption and electricity consumption. So you can see here when you push the button here, so it will measure how many water you have consumed, and if it becomes red, you have consumed too much. So it's a kind of indication. So there will be a tap who is open in the house, so you have to check it.
In the children's bedroom is the wellness cocoon, a controlled environment with a constant supply of oxygen for when children are sick. For this healthy young visitor, the cocoon's computer games are all the medicine he needs. His mother, meanwhile, explores the master bedroom, where an intelligent mirror above the sink plays the latest news, weather details, and music. If only it showed a little more time in the day.
I'm afraid I won't have time to actually use all of the innovations, that's the only thing, because we won't have any more time in the future than we have now. But that would save time. To be able to watch the news or check the internet before you actually open the computer would save time. That would be great.
The house has also been designed for personal safety, and security cameras are hidden throughout the rooms, not necessarily to everyone's liking.
Here, I don't really mind the cameras. If it was happening in my house, I wouldn't be so happy because I like my privacy. But here, I don't really mind.
Belgium's House of the Future is a home balancing comfort and conscience, looking after our needs as well as our environment. In a remote corner of Siberia, the heat of climate change is having a visible impact. For the first time in tens of thousands of years, Siberia's frozen land, the permafrost, is thawing. At this area, known as Windswept Cliff, huge ice wedges have been exposed by the thaw. The wedges are normally covered by vegetation, but as the ice melts, the solid land around it turns into mud and subsides, causing trees to fall over and exposing the ice wedges. There are fears the thawing of the permafrost could have dire consequences.
The melting of the Siberian permafrost could permanently negate efforts on energy conservation, on saving mineral resources, and on saving oil. This is a catastrophe for northern Siberia. All the towns and roads will be destroyed here. But it will also lead to further warming of the globe, which will be impossible to stop.
The thaw exposes ancient organic matter formed during the last ice age when the mammoth and bison roamed the land. The remains of the animals and their excrement built up a huge layer covering about 1 million square kilometres. It's this that's now decomposing.
This soil was frozen for more than 20,000 years, and it's very well preserved. There are roots of grass, microbes, as well as parts of twigs, and it all smells of mammoth dung. It has the smell of a barn, and now it has melted, and the microbes that were starving for 20,000 years have woken up after a long sleep, and will eat this all and turn it into greenhouse gases.
Currently, mankind emits about 7 billion tonnes of carbon a year. Zimov says permafrost areas hold 500 billion tonnes of carbon, which can fast turn into greenhouse gases if it melts. The thaw also creates an ever-growing number of lakes where methane, a gas 20 times more harmful than carbon dioxide, bubbles up to the surface. At places where the natural vegetation of mosses, shrubs and trees has been disturbed, such as roads and building sites, the thaw is faster and causes land subsidence.
10 years ago, this was the main road of our region. Every day, tens of huge trucks brought cargo over this road. Now, the road has sunk, the ice has melted and has turned the road into a very deep canyon. Soon, all our roads will turn into canyons like this.
Chersky is a depressed town with a population of around 3,000. Many houses have been demolished or abandoned by tenants after their concrete walls cracked as the ancient ice under their foundations melted. Locals mostly depend on fishing to survive in this harsh and sparsely populated region.
When the ice melts, the river swells, and then there are fewer fish. The river expands, it breaks its banks, and fish are killed. When it does not melt, the river stays within its banks. There are fish, and everything is normal.
For now, it might seem that these are local problems that don't affect us. But if temperatures continue to rise, it could be a very different story. Renewable energy sources now account for 4% of power generation in the UK, a figure the government is keen to increase. On the Isle of Wight, experts gathered recently to discuss how to harness the power of the sea to create energy.
Ocean energy is going to be hugely important. It's not only a colossal source of energy, the UK happens to sit on the richest amount of marine energy in Europe. We have the industries developing here, the innovation is happening here, we're starting to get money focused on the area, so it's not only a source of energy, but it's a source of income, long-term economic development as far as the UK is concerned.
The experts pointed out that with early substantial investment in wind power, Denmark is now reaping very good dividends, an example Britain should look to with its wave and tidal power.
renewable energy, people forget that it gives us long-term, secure supply of electricity. And when you talk about fuel poverty and you talk about low cost, make the investment now. Go for that inexhaustible supply, and it'll be just like hydro. That is the cheapest form of generation we have in this country now because of far-sighted investment made in the 50s and 60s in Scotland.
One company working in the field is Pelamis, which has been generating ocean power in the Orkney Islands in Scotland for 3 years. Giant tubes, each the size of a football field, are connected by hinged joints. The movement from the waves is converted to electricity and fed back into the grid by a single cable on the seabed. Although there is a negative economic return at present, it could potentially be very cost-effective long-term.
We believe that wave energy has one of the lowest opening costs of pretty much any preceding energy technology, which is quite a radical claim, but we see costs at the moment that are quite a bit below the current costs of solar photovoltaic, which, as we know, is already a big market, and quite a bit below where wind power started. If you take wind power as an example, the costs of producing electricity from wind turbines has fallen by about 80% over the last 20-25 years. We see there's similar potential here in wave energy, except we're actually starting from a lower starting point.
The UK leads the world at the moment in marine energy, and if the UK government is prepared to actually invest money in that, then they could have a huge export of potential in 5 to 10 years' time, which is generating income for the country.
Ocean power is gaining momentum around the world. As well as the UK, Portugal is already investing in wave power, and many other nations are set to follow. Clean and unlimited, wave and tidal power shows exciting potential as a viable means of generating electricity for our sustainable future. Join us again when we bring you more of what matters to keep our world green.